Now we're going to do math lesson 96. And this lesson is about dividing fractions. To help us understand dividing fractions, we first need to learn about reciprocals. A reciprocal is simply a fraction that is flipped around. What is the numerator becomes the denominator, and what is the denominator becomes the numerator. For example, 3/4 would become 4/3. That's all a reciprocal is. The interesting thing about them is that whenever you multiply a number by its own reciprocal, for example, 1/3 by 3/1, you will always get the number 1. That's because you're still multiplying the same numbers, just in a different order. So now let's turn to our workbook page, and I want to introduce a little more about the lesson, and then we'll do the practice set together. So turn to your workbook page with me. In order to get used to how reciprocals work and how division of fractions work, let's just look at this example. We know that if you ask how many 3/4 are in 3/4, the answer would have to be 1. But the way we do division of fractions is we use the reciprocal and then we multiply. Let's see what would happen here. If we leave the first fraction, change this to multiplication, and use the reciprocal of the first fraction, watch what happens. We get 12 over 12, which equals 1, which is what you would expect the answer to be. Here's an example of how this helps us divide fractions easily by using this method of reciprocals and then multiplying. Let's take 3 divided by 1/2. Or we might say, how many 1/2s are in 3? Well, we logically know that there would be 6 1/2s in 3 whole. Let's see how that would work now with multiplying the reciprocals. We could say 3 over 1, which you know is the same as 3. We change the division to multiplication and we flip it. Or we use the reciprocal, which gives us the answer we know would be correct. And that's how we do division of fractions. All we have to do is divide fractions is to multiply them by their reciprocals. We use a little trick that might help us to remember, and this might help you. We remember to keep it, change it, and flip it. Let me show you how that works. Here's an example. If we want to divide 2/3 divided by 1/2, we would simply keep it, leave the 2/3, change it to multiplication, and flip it. And our answer would be 4 over 3, or 1 1/3. That would be an example in your book. Now let's do another example that's in your book, and that would be example 2. Example 2 says 2 divided by 2/3. Okay, let's use our little trick that we use for dividing fractions. Okay, we change the 2, we make the 2 over 1, because that's what 2 really is, 2 over 1. We keep that, we change it, we flip it, and we get 6 over 2. Okay, 6 over 2 equals 3. So this would be our answer, 3. Okay, now let's look at our practice set together, and we'll do a few of these. We'll do a few of these together. Let me get this erased. Sorry, I got to get my eraser working. All right. Let's remember our little phrase here. I think it's helpful. Keep it, change it, flip it. All right, keep it, change it, flip it. Let's look at our first problem together. Let's look at A. And when we do some of these together, I think you'll see how easy it really is. We have 1/3 divided by 1/2. Well, we're going to keep the 1/3, keep the first one, don't change it. Keep it, and we're going to change our division to times. We're going to flip it, 2 over 1, and we're going to get 2/3. That's our first answer. Okay, now let's look at B. 2/3 divided by 3/4. So remember our rule. Keep it, change it, flip it. Equals 8/6, 4. Oops, sorry. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Is it 6? All right. Catch me. 8/9. And that's our answer. All right, I'm going to now skip C. I'm going to do a few of these, but I'm not going to do every one of them because I want you to do some on your own. Let's look at D. 1/2 divided by 1/3. All right, keep it, change it, flip it. All right, we get 3 over 2 equals 1 1/2. See how easy these are to do? All right, let's look at E. 3/4 divided by 2/3. We keep it, we change it, and we flip it. Equals 1 1/8. Sorry, a little crowded there. Okay. Let's look at F. 3 divided by 3/4. Well, we know 3 is the same as 3 over 1, so we're going to leave it 3 over 1, change it, flip it, and multiply. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Do these with me now, so you're not just copying me, but understanding what I do. All right, let's do G together. 2 divided by 1/3. Okay, 2 divided by 1/3. Leave it. 2 over 1 is the same as leaving it because a whole number always has a 1 under it. Leave it or keep it, change it, flip it. We get 6 over 1 equals 6. Whoops, oh, I lost my page there. I'm sorry, lost my page. There we go. All right, let's look at, I'm going to skip a few so that you can do them on your own. Let me do I with you. 10 divided by 5/6. Well, 10 would be the same as 10 over 1. Keep it, change it, flip it. I'm sorry, that's a bad 10. Okay. All right, we would get 60 over 5 equals 12. Let's look at J. How many 1/3 are in 3/4? So how would we write that as a division problem? How many 1/3 are in 3/4? So we would write that as 3/4 divided by 1/3 if we think that through. So we keep it, change it, flip it. Equals 2, I'm running out of space, and 1/4. 2 and 1/4. Okay, that's J. We're going to do one. I'll do one more with you. Get myself a little room here. All right, let's do K. How much of 3/4 is in 1/3? Well, think that through. How much of 3/4 is in 1/3? So that would mean 1/3 divided by 3/4. So with our little rule, we keep it, change it, and flip it. We get 4/9. Now, I hope that helps you to understand how to divide fractions. They're really very easy. Once you keep the first number, change the division to multiplication, and flip the next fraction and multiply. And there you are. Okay, you go ahead and do those couple of practice set that I skipped to practice yourself, and then do the odd number problems for lesson 96. Okay, thank you for your attention.